Hello my lovelies and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm bringing you office workers or people working from home a little yoga flow just to give you a break. Maybe at lunchtime it'll be a good time to do this class, or after a long day sat down. We're going to be focusing on all the areas like the neck, the shoulders, the upper back, the hips, hamstrings. And I did used to work in an office before I started yoga, so I feel the pain of being sat down all day. And I know what areas really feel like they need a good stretch. So grab some props if you have them. You don't need them though, but they may come in handy. And we will go and do some lovely, lovely yoga. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoy it. Subscribe to stay updated. I post out 3 new yoga flows every week. Thanks guys. Okay my lovelies, just start by finding a comfortable cross-leg position if you can. You can always sit onto a cushion or just give the legs a little shake out if it starts to get uncomfortable. We're going to let our hands just rest onto the tops of the knees. Let your eyes close. And just take a moment just to allow your mind to arrive on your mat with your body. So draw your mind back from the morning or the afternoon or the day that has been. And allow it to return to the body, just noticing how it feels right now. Checking in, seeing if it's tight in any places, if there's any tension anywhere. Doing this with no judgment, just awareness. And set an intention for this little class to just keep your awareness here, resting on the physical body, completely present in the now, and it's in a place of peace for the mind. On your next inhale, just lengthen through the spine, so sitting up a little taller. And if you can, you want to straighten out your elbows, so you're almost leaning back. There's a little bit of tension on the tops of the knees. We're going to stretch out the neck. So slowly on your next exhale, just draw your left ear to your left shoulder. And you can take this stretch as far as you wish. You might want to really lean in towards that left side. So you're almost drawing away from the right knee. That's going to give you a much deeper stretch into the right side of the neck. And you can hold still, or you can start to draw your chin down towards the left shoulder. And then draw it back up on your inhale. Just moving in your own time, moving with the breath. Just find one more of those movements if that's what you're doing. Inhale to lift the chin and exhale to draw it down. And slowly bring the head back to center. And if you've lost that tension, just inhale, sitting up even taller. Elbows are locked out. Then you're leaning in towards your right side, right ear to your right shoulder. Almost pulling away from that left knee as you lean in towards that right side. And again, you can bring in that movement, so as you exhale, draw your chin down towards your right shoulder and inhale to lift it up. Moving with that flow of breath. Just find one more. And then gently bringing the head back to center. We're going to come into our tabletop position, so take your time. Hands will be underneath the shoulders and knees underneath your hips. On an inhale, just drop your belly down towards the mat as you draw the shoulder blades down the back. Maybe lifting the chin slightly in the gaze, that's your inhale. As you exhale, rounding through the spine, press your way into your back as you draw your chin to the chest and you tuck the tailbone underneath. And that's the exhale. We're going to do 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Inhale. And this is our last one. And exhale to round. Coming into neutral spine, we're going to thread our needle. So we're going to take our right arm underneath our left arm, come down to your right shoulder. With your left hand, it can either stay underneath the left shoulder or it can extend out in front. Gently drawing your hips towards the right. We're going to stay here for 3 deep breaths. With every exhale, you're just relaxing into that stretch, into that twist. Slowly draw your left hand underneath your left shoulder if it's extended. And inhale to just return back to center. Switch sides, left arm underneath the right arm. Come down to your left shoulder, left side of the head. Then with that right arm, it can stay as it is, but you extend it up and overhead. Hips this time will be drawing back towards the left. 3 deep breaths here. Slowly draw the right hand in. Inhale brings you back to your tabletop. From here, walking both hands out so your arms are straight and your hips are stacked over your knees. Try and keep your elbows straight as you draw your forehead to the mat. Or for a deeper stretch, you draw your chin and your chest down. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths. Just keep relaxing, letting the chest melt down towards the mat with every exhale. Find one more deep breath here. And slowly on your inhale, lift the chest. Start to walk the hands underneath the shoulders, and as you exhale, just rounding into the upper back. Coming into neutral spine, we're going to take it into a down dog. So we're going to stretch out our hamstrings a little. Tuck the toes underneath, inhale. As you exhale, just press your hips up towards the ceiling, sending your way out of the hands and down through the heels. And notice how you're feeling here. If you're super tight in your hamstrings, then keep a nice bend into your knees. Or you can walk your dog out. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths, so just find what feels good here. And if you're bending into the knees, maybe try taking a little pause, which I love to do. So bend deeper into the left knee and just drive that right heel down towards the mat. Holding for 3, 2, 1. Switch sides, so bend deeper into your right knee. Send that left heel towards the mat. It doesn't have to touch. It's just going in that direction. For 3, 2, 1. From here, right foot stepping between your hands. Slowly lower down your back knee. Hands framing your right foot, and just check that your right knee is in line with your right ankle. As you exhale, draw your chin to your chest and just let the crown of the head drop down. We're trying to find that nice stretch through the front of your left hip flexor. I'm going to stay here for 3 breaths. Just relax your hips with every exhale. And these breaths are slow and long. And slowly we're coming up, still in that low lunge, but we're lifting out of the hip crease. So just bring your hands to the hips, knees still over the ankle, but you're not resting into your hip crease. You're tucking your tailbone underneath, so you're getting rid of any arch into the lower back, and you're pressing your left hip flexor forward. So we're going to stretch into our psoas. Left hand stays on the left hip. This is where a block might come in handy, and you're just going to reach your right fingertips down to the side. We should hopefully be feeling a stretch from the left front of the left hip all the way up into the side of the body slightly. If you want to take it a little bit further, you can always draw your left arm up and over. Or even take your right hand and hold the left wrist to help draw it over. You're going to find 3 more breaths here. Find where you're holding this pose. Making sure you're avoiding any deep arch into the lower back. And slowly coming all the way down. Drawing your right leg back behind you. And tucking your toes underneath, inhale. As you exhale, you're just back in your downward facing dog. See if you can find any more length in your down dog by tilting your tailbone up and sending your weight down through the heels. Staying here for 2 breaths. And slowly planting your left foot between the hands, lowering down to your right knee. Hands framing up the left foot. And we're going to draw the chin to the chest, crown of the head drops. 3 deep breaths here, just relaxing your right hip flexor down. And then gently lifting up and out of the hip crease, hands coming to the hips. This can be a good test for our balance, this pose. So we're drawing the tailbone underneath, so you're taking the arch out of the lower back, pressing your hips forward, but making sure you've got a gap between the left hip and the thigh. Right hand stays on the right hip, and we're leaning in towards that left side, so we feel that stretch all the way up here. We're staying and we're breathing, and again you've got that option. Either you can just reach over with your right arm, or left hand can hold the right wrist, just so you find a bit more length through the right side of the body. Leaning in on that exhale out. So find where you're taking this pose. We're going to stay here for a couple more breaths. And slowly coming all the way down, left leg draws back. Tuck the toes underneath. This is going to be our last down dog, so enjoy it. Inhale, exhale, downward facing dog. Same thing, we're going to stay here for 2 more breaths. You can keep movement going if you want to, or you're just holding still. Trying to find that little bit more length through the backs of the legs. And from here, we're going to find a deep hamstring stretch. We're going to take it into our ragdoll. So slowly start to walk your feet just halfway towards the hands. Then you can let your hands walk in towards the feet. Now don't worry, if you have to bring a really deep bend into the knees to do that, you can. We're going to find our ragdoll. So hold the elbows or fold the arms and just let the crown of the head drop. If you feel any pulling into the lower back, then bend a little deeper into your knees. Otherwise, we're just going to stay here and we're going to rock it out from side to side. relaxing into every exhale. Let the head be heavy, let the face relax. If you want to here, like we did in our first down dog, for a deeper hamstring stretch, you bend into your left knee and straighten out that right leg, holding for 3 breaths. And it can be the tiniest little movement and it'll give you a much deeper stretch through your right hamstring. And change sides. And our final pose is going to be for our inner hips. So we're going to bring the fingertips down, heel toe the feet to the edges of the mat, toes turned out, heels turned in. You guessed it, we're going to come down into our yogi squat. So gently bringing the elbows to the insides of the knees. If you get to here and this is too much, you just stay here, use your hands for support. Or you can sit onto a cushion or a block. Or bring the hands to the heart center as you inhale. Trying to find a bit of length through the spine. So you're tilting the tailbone down, you're drawing the chest towards the thumbs, and you're trying to make that straight line. Don't worry if that's not happening. As much as you can, just try and lift into the chest. We're going to stay here for 3 breaths. And then slowly and gracefully from here, we're going to come down to seated. So however it's easiest for you to come to seated, and we're going to cross the legs together, finishing where we started. Just bring the hands to the heart center. Take a moment to thank yourself for taking this little bit of time out of your day to devote it to not just your physical body, which will have benefited, but also your mind as well. Then bow your head to your heart. Namaste.